Everything is grand on my end. Let's get back to presentation. All right, so starting here today, I want to talk about modern defense, what I call proactive prevent defense. So I'm going to use Moritz Seider, just won the Rookie of the Year, so not a bad example to utilize. When I talk proactive prevention, I want to start with a question. Usually I'm very deliberate in giving answers away here. This one I may be going to give my bias, but I also want you guys to be thinking about what is best. So question I want to ask is, what is the value and benefit of backward skating? What is the value and benefit of backward skating? Okay, we all understand the body orientation aspect of it. So you can see majority of the play, but beyond that, what are the benefits of backward skating? So when we think about this question, we want to ask ourselves, when is it better? Or is it better to skate forward, go angle? Should we be shutting sequences down before they begin? My answer to that would be a lot more times than not, forward skating, angling, attacking, being proactive is going to be the better solution to the situation, to the sequence. So traditionally we talk about absorbing defense. We're trying not to give away lines, but more often than not, we want our defensemen inside the dots, skating backwards, letting the offense bring the pressure to us as we protect the good ice. Now we're seeing a lot more tactics. I chose a 6'3" defenseman, but you'll see more of like a Samuel Girard, guys that are on the shorter end. We're talking Mitch Korn and Trotz level height, where they're starting early, they're utilizing their skating, and they're stunting plays before it begins, or they're finding ways to proactively create a situation that is in their favor as a smaller defenseman, one that can skate, where they're going to be able to control the entire situation. So as we're going through this, I want to say, what are the ways, when are the times, when, where, and how that we can create these situations where we're in control, where we're skating forward, where we're creating the pressure and proactively shutting this down before teams are able to get red lines, get blue lines, so we're not giving them away and are always in the advantageous position, or how do we put ourselves in that advantageous position? So the first two clips I want to go over here is, in these clips, I just want you to think one simple question: when to skate backwards? When would it have been beneficial to skate backwards during these clips? And would it have even been beneficial at all? So the first one's kind of a gray area, get you thinking. The second one I think is a little more black and white. So guy we're following here, Moritz Seider. I'll try to point him out here. My technology is not as good as Dave's over here, so we'll see how we can do. But he'll be 53 when he's playing with the Red Wings and Griffins. And when I've got clips from Germany, he'll be number 21. And he's a right-handed defenseman, relatively big. So first two videos, left middle of the screen here is where we'll start. He's going to start off the screen, and then he'll come on here. So number 21 in white for Germany, he'll be the right defenseman. One more time. When would it have been beneficial potentially to skate backwards versus forwards, or is this the best solution? I'll let you decide on that one. Here's one. He's the white guy. You'll notice him. He makes a nice little hit here. One more time here. Would it have been beneficial to get back early, turn, face the play with a pivot, so he's skating backwards, yay or nay? Or did he make the best decision? All right, so let's find a few sequences, some video clips here that we can show what forward modern skating defensemen are doing to proactively put the play in their favor. So on this one, we're talking about shutting the sequence down early, being a very proactive aggressor when we're doing so. All right, so right here, we're going to see him on the far right side of the screen at the top. He's in the screen right now. Would have been better to go backwards, or did he make the right decision to go forwards? Next one here, we'll have him being the bottom left, number 53 in white. So we're looking bottom left of the screen here. First one, he kind of went relatively direct and created a seal. This one, he's going to be able to angle into the zone and ride him all the way up. I like to call this a swing in. We're swinging into the zone and angling into the wall. And if we're watching the detail here, really notice how he shapes his route. He starts going wide, but then he cuts back to the middle to make sure there's no cutback for the offensive player before angling him into the wall and forcing that chip out, which is the turnover into the Red Wings' hands. All right, last one here. We're gonna end up looking at the bottom of the face-off circle at center ice. He's coming from the right side of the screen. And will eventually take body position and just guide that puck into his own team's hands. He's in Germany here, so number 21 in white. So is it better for him to set a gap, absorb it, skating backwards, or is it going forwards, creating confrontation early? I'm going to argue that for more and more situations that we're seeing, we can find ways to be proactive. We're not waiting for pressure. We're actually actively giving pressure. More specifically, I think there's a great advantageous to skating forward and defending the rush without actually facing the play, eliminating pivots, finding ways and situations in which case we can be the aggressor. So he's bottom left of the screen here, number 53, red and white. He creates an offsides there. This is one I really enjoy because you can see how he starts in the traditional skating backwards, playing, absorbing the rush, but he goes so far inside and he creates an opportunity that the only real option that the offensive team sees is down the wall. So then he's able to see that that guy gets committed. He goes in hard and is able to create an offsides and really pinch out and force out that player. One more time, just because it's that good, especially with the stick detail that he has. This one here, we're going to see him top right. He's the one currently playing the rush. He's the guy closest to the puck carrier. We'll see him again turn and skate forward with the player, even finish with some good body contact, flipping the guy into his own bench. I'm a big proponent of not giving away lines where we don't have to. Would have been better to absorb this rush, play a 2-on-2 with a back checker, or do what he did, try to force the dump in early so his guy can get back and recover that. So Griffin's there, his team are going to be able to get full on possession. So here's a little more active scene here. He's going to be coming from the top right / middle of the screen, coming all the way across over to his defensive pair, his positioning to cut away this play. We can see how he gets two stick touches, little ticks on the puck here. And if you notice this would have been a traditional 3-on-2 coming against. He's able to come across, force this play from one guy to the next, and continuously apply pressure all the way through his angle, get two stick touches, two ticks on the puck, and create a bit of a turnover and a 50-50 battle at center ice rather than having a 3-on-2. One last time here. Gaining body position, being the aggressor, a 3-on-2 does not develop here. It's able to turn into a 50-50 battle instead. So let me see if I can go back and stop the right moment. So we could see, had he not been there, this would have been an easy 3-on-2 for the Penguins, and then it would have been on them to execute from there. Instead, he's able to get body position, challenge. We're not giving away the red line and blue line very easily. Be the aggressor, skating forwards. So next thing I want to talk about here is how can we utilize this also to discourage the play, where we are now dictating the play of the other team and the options of the other team without even touching the puck or the opponent. So this first one, center ice, is just going to be a simple play, real quick. It's going to go from the defense of Russia up to the player. He sees that there's no good options here. He's going to pass it right back. Again, he's always got great stick detail. He's just simply stepping up, angling, rather than setting a gap and skating backwards. Next one here, he's going to be right middle. He's not on the screen quite yet, but you'll see this play goes to the winger on the wall. He's coming down on him, and that play gets moved backwards, giving a lot of time for his team to reset, get back above the puck, defensive side of the puck. One more time. So this last one, want to highlight a lot of times pulling clips for defensemen are extremely difficult because they're off the screen. This one is a little bit better because the person's actually tracking their daughter. We'll know the person who this was, but we really want to showcase how she is going to push up on the play here, skate forward to discourage the play altogether, and make sure that passing option doesn't occur. The other team's actually going to force back and end up not going there, going somewhere else that ends up turning into a turnover. So let's watch this one more time. Watch the defenseman of the other team. She will look directly at this player and not make this pass and ends up having to go elsewhere. One last time, I like to call this sitting on the option. We're sitting on the option. We're suffocating the passing options available to encourage the play to go elsewhere, which in this case is back into traffic. So we can see all of these situations starting to evolve and show themselves as advantageous to skating forward rather than defense. So when we talk to our defense, it's less about skating backwards and absorbing, but finding ways to be proactive. I know, especially with youth players and even some of the AAA guys, you're seeing a ton of them being like, oh, it's not my problem until they come to me and then I'll deal with it. Well, let's find a way to get them involved in the game, actively seeking out ways to create situations that are advantageous for their team sooner rather than later. We're not giving away ice, things like that. So this one, I went back and forth how to actually phrase this. We're going to call it the proactive reactive situation. So we're proactively creating the situation, in which case there are two options for the opponent. From there, we then wait for them to choose one of those two options, and we're going to have the solution to that on the play. And this one is hilarious because they happen 5 minutes between each other in a game and look almost exactly alike. So again, we're going to see the offensive skating, the forward strides, contain, and then we're taking body. Watch this one more time. It's third period at 10 minutes and a half left. Next video, we're now going to see its third period. Now we've got 5.5 minutes left rather than 10 minutes. Almost the exact same play, both times, skating forward, force them into a bad area of the rink, force them into the corner, allowing us to be reactive to the 1 or 2 options left, and then take it away from there. And a solid hit at the end, never hurts. So last video clip I want to show today is what I call angle and retrieve. We're going to see both defensemen, not just one of them. Both defensemen are skating forward to defend, be able to retrieve, and then transition. I would argue that, especially the guy retrieving the puck, if he had to pivot backwards and then pivot forwards, he's losing at least 1 or 2 steps and would be unable to escape the pressure here. So you can really see the advantage of having our defensemen skating forward, angling, closing off space, and then being able to transition quickly. You can see both defensemen skating forwards, being able to create turnovers and quickly transition out by skating forward rather than backwards. But we'll do it one more time for good measure, because I think it's a great clip. Fantastic. So that's what I got here for today. Just want to recap all of this, bringing it back to where we started. What is the value and benefit of backward skating? Is forward skating the better solution? Obviously, through these clips, I'm a little biased. I think, yes, we need to be skating forward more often. Plus, most of our players are going to be a little more comfortable skating forward. Then we got to worry about, okay, we need to change our mindset from reactive to proactive. Why wait for the offense to bring pressure on you? Why can't you take the pressure to them early? Why do we have to give away ice for free? We want to be very difficult to play against. This is a great way to do that. And then within the situations that we consistently are seeing, how can we find ways to go from reactive to proactive? How can we create opportunities like Sider did, where it looks like it's going to be a 2-on-2, absorb the pressure. Really, he's just cutting in so far to the inside that you're like, oh, I'm going to go down the wall. And when you do that, he's able to capitalize and create that situation that he can create a turnover and offsides in that one against Pittsburgh. So we're all coaches here. So let's talk about, all right, how do we maybe want to start teaching this proactive prevent defense? One, we want to have the details behind the skill. So angling skating. I did a presentation last year on this. So we're talking about skating on arcs, outside edges, things along those lines, understanding we're angling towards the back hip, we're going through hands, etc. But then more importantly, we also have the detail of stick on puck or stick under puck as we're trying to jar it away, get ticks, get turnovers. Dave Caruso led me on to this one many years ago, the constraints-led approach. The idea of we're constraining the activity to force a look for new solutions. So in this case, it could be simply just saying no backward skating on these rush drills, and allowing them to find the solution, the timing, the when, the where, the how to actually implement these skills. Because it's great that we say it, but they need to be able to read the cues and create the environments that they can effectively make this happen. And I'm a huge fan of game and practice themes. So getting a lot of drills that can fit into skating forwards. You can create, hey, defense this week, this month, we're focusing on skating forward to defend. Don't skate backwards. Okay, it's a great thing to have. Same thing with keeping stats for these actions. Are they doing them? Are they not doing them? Score it. And then also the last piece, and the most important, which is just coaching in general, is giving them the freedom to fail and learn, allowing the psychological safety for players to attempt new tactics. So rather than, oh, why did you do this, and coming down on them, allowing them the space to try these things out. It's not going to be perfect day one, but it should get better over time. And as we know, progressions through these things are not always going to be linear in how much they get better. It could be 2 great reps and then a terrible one. And then it might be another 2 good or another 2 terrible, but just allowing them to work through that. And when they finally are starting to get it right, give them encouragement, catch them doing it right, have them feeling good about implementing these new tactics. So thank you everyone for your time today. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Revac. I'm most active there. Subscribe to the Hockey IQ newsletter if you haven't. Definitely listen to the podcast, Highest Just the One with Dave Caruso. It's awesome. Along with Marty St. Louis, Daryl Belfry, Thomas Pacina, guys like that I think are fantastic. And then in fall of 2022, I'm going to come out with a handbook for defensemen talking about all the details in retrievals. That's probably way too detailed, but it should be a lot of fun. All right. Dave, would you like to go right away or would you like 2 minutes?
Probably 2 minutes.
All right, 2 minutes here and we'll be right back.
Okay, can you hear me on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so my name is Dave Caruso. I work for the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm your token goalie guru for today. You always need to have a good goalie person in the crowd around to present so you can talk about goalies. So we're going to talk today about designing learning environments. So pretty simply is we just want to have a thought process of how we want to set up practices and events in practice for our goalies to help them get better. So the first video, come on, dude. Okay, so it's a video of Bruce Lee. I'm going to press play. Hopefully you can hear it.
Methods hold no appeal whatsoever for this young man.
Styles tends to not only separate men, because they have their own doctrines, and then the doctrine became the gospel truth, that you cannot change, to be soft like water and flexible and adapt itself to the opponent. By that I mean it's more flowing, there's continuity in movement instead of one movement, two movement, and then stop.
Real combat is spontaneous, not rehearsed, and is made up of irregular or broken rhythm that a martial artist cannot anticipate, only respond to. His background in Hong Kong, which consisted not of non-contact karate tournaments, but full contact street fights and challenge matches fought on Hong Kong rooftops. When not fighting against proponents of different styles of gun fu on rooftops, Lee had also fought frequently against opponents who had been armed with knives and chains. In such real-world encounters, referees and judges were not necessary. Anything that's ornamental is discarded from his style. He retains only those techniques that he himself has determined to be practical in real self-defense situations.
To reach me, you must move to me. Your attack always be an opportunity to intercept you.
See people who are being aware of their own movements, who are observing the other person's movements and being able to fit in with that person's movements so that there's no set pattern of movements. No, well, when he does this, then I do this. It's just a total freedom to react to what the other person does.
Since combat, like life, is not predictable, Lee held that one must possess a pliable adaptability in order to change with change.
You see, we rehearse routine like the flexibility to adapt. But there is a way. There lies the limitation.
So you're probably thinking to yourself, why in the hell do I have a Kung Fu video talking about goaltending, right? But there's a lot of stuff in this video that they've said about how Lee approaches his practice and approaches how he's what's going to be best in the real world, real life. And in hockey, right? So the practice is his training, and then the real world is the games. So for us goalies, typically there's a lot of kind of misconceived notions that, hey, these goalies have to have the best technique. We just got to work on technique. Ian Clark, who was the Blue Jacket goalie coach for a while, he's now in Vancouver. He goes, I could teach technique in a weekend. It's those intangible skills and the other skills that's needed, the decision making of making those saves and making those decisions. So with what Bruce said, like, you got to adapt, you got to have a pliable adaptability, right? So he was having practices with real knives and everything. So in practice, what do we give our goalies? Do we give them the ability to react to different situations, or do we say, hey, you need to shoot here, you need to shoot there, and they already know what the solution is? And Greg touched on it a little bit. So we'll dive a little deeper on this. It's a pretty great video. Okay. What information can we take from this to apply to our training environment? I touched briefly on that, and we're going to skip to the next one. So on creating a good learning environment for those players, we want to be observing where it happens. So are you looking from the bench? Are you looking from the stands? Are you behind the net? Probably that's not a great idea, but what is the target behavior that you'd like to see? So in your mind, what is maybe the ideal solution? But that ideal solution might not be the correct solution for that person. So you got to keep that in mind when you're thinking about that target solution, whether it's a glove save, a 2-pat stack, a RVH, whatever it is. So, and then how do we create a drill that encourages that solution? So this could take hours and hours if we wanted to touch base. And this is similar to talking about the constraints-led approach, but point systems, reward, manipulating shooters, equipment, and others. So changing those constraints, those are all different constraints that you can change. And then as you're coaching and you're watching from the side, from the bench, from wherever you're at, there's a couple things that you're going to have to do. You want to observe and evaluate whether you want to change that drill or continue. So here are some of the things that you can, for don't changing, if they're progressing, if you see progress, if you see exploration, if you see them trying new things that maybe might be out of the box, that might be something that could be used later on. And then determination, you know, they're not giving up. So, and then there's the times when you want to change or intervene is maybe the mastery is not there, it's way too difficult, and then you see frustration. There's always something to expectations. So we're going to watch a couple videos and we're going to think to ourselves, do we want to change or do we want to continue this drill to see where it's at? So just a little setup. The goalie in the net is Maddie Rooney. This was, I think it was after they won the gold a couple years ago. And she was very high of the world, right? Like she was top end gold medal winning shootout champion. Right now, she's fighting to try to get back to her spot. She was struggling a little bit, and she was fighting to get back to her spot. So the drill starts off with a pretty good shooter in Brian Pothier in the corner, and he comes in. He's going around Cavallini, who's the other goalie right there, and just making a move. The only caveat is we told, or the goalie coach, not me, the goalie coach told Brian Pothier, if you score, you got to try to score the same exact way every single time until she stops it. That's the one caveat. You're going to watch on this video that it's from this angle and then also one or two other angles. So it's not a different one, but there's a couple rounds. So watch how she progresses. Okay, so obviously he continued the drill and she ended up stopping it. Okay, what are the things that you saw in there? Think to yourself, I know we're on Zoom in here, that you might say, hey, we're going to continue this drill. What are some of those things? Did you hear anything? There's a part in there that you heard something. So she said something. She got confirmation from her teammates, but also confirmation of the coach. She goes, "I got this," and the coach was like, "Yeah, you do." And that was the part where you knew that, you know, if she's cursing or she's, you know, her body language is all over the place, that might be the time that you stop it. But she was steadily progressing as she was going through this, and that was something that you want to pay attention. And there's times that if she wasn't, that might be the time when coach steps in, talks about it, but building that safety zone for them that they can try new things, but also try to get better. Okay. Some other considerations that you want to think about that when you're coaching your goalies is one puck in practice, less verbal prompting. So on the last video, what I said, the only thing that was told was to the shooter. And too many times we get in, hey, there's going to be a shot here, there's going to be a shot there. Thinking back to the Bruce Lee video, right? Expect the unexpected. It's coming from all different angles. You can shape it. You can shape that attacker. So the best way to constrain and to get a solution that you want out of your goalie is actually constrain and tell the shooter or the person attacking them what you want to do. So, and not the goalie, because you want that goalie to read. Here's another video. I'm not going to talk during the video. I've learned that lesson. Okay. So 2 nets, incorporating a lot of different goalies. So the shooter can shoot at either net. The goalie is kicked out to because you got 3 goalies if you get scored on, or if you're not on the net that was being shot and you went down. So reading the release of these pucks for the goalie. And thinking about, should you change or continue this as this goes? So see how she had to get out because she went down? Picking up cues of what the shooter is doing. That's the key to goaltending. And that's key to goal scoring. Tricking them. Not an overly hard drill, but this is a lot of mental and nervous system involvement of trying to figure out what's happening here. Your perception action. Pretty fun. Okay, next video. Okay, so typically we've always said, hey, goalies need to be the best skaters on the team, all this BS, right? All that good stuff. But when they are playing in games, the only thing that's out there is the puck and the players, right? Too many times we do goalie movement with no puck, no players. Sorry, I hear it. 1 second. It's out. Okay. So too many times we do goalie movement. Hey, you got to go from the blue line to the blue line, and you got to do 12 of the same T pushes. Never in a game has they ever done 12 T pushes in a row, ever in the history of goaltending. Okay, so we want to try to make it so that that puck is that movement, is the deciding factor of how it moves. The other cool thing that you can do on this video is you're involving the other goalies or passing. But also if you have numerous shooters that are out there, they're also passing the move. So if you watch the goalie and how they're moving off of the puck, but also just the shooters and the passers, what kind of skills they're working on. So let's throw this up there. T pushes, shuffles. And these are like 14-year-olds, maybe 15. I call that just chaos in terms of any puck, just move. And then this last one is just a game that you can do. You got 2 goalies, 2 nets, and the decision here on this game is the shooter can go to any net to shoot at. So the goalie is learning a lot of different decision making with the cues of what that shooter's doing, whether they're tricking, and the shooter is trying to trick the goalies to try to score. So obviously they're continuing this. If I saw these goalies really struggling or kind of really being lost in there, some of the things I would do is maybe take away one or two of the players, make it a little bit more stagnant. I want to try to eliminate the thing we're saying, I'm only going around to your left side. That's it. The only time I would do that is if the goalie is really having an issue of actually following the puck or it's totally too fast. Then I might slow it down a little bit and try to break down if there's something within their skill set or their movement that might be wrong. But in the end, these goalies are reading and reacting to what the play is in front of them. Okay, and just to summarize, that's my email, that's my name. Obviously. Thinking back to the Bruce Lee video, it's really important to when you're designing these practices and you sometimes hear goalies, hey, you know, I'm not warmed up. I'm not ready when the practice starts. That's BS. Okay. It's because they maybe didn't prepare properly beforehand. We want to test their ability to come right in and be ready to play and be ready to react in the situation, because you never know when you're going to be thrown into the game as you get older. So you always want to be ready. And that's where I really like the small area games. It doesn't have to be a small area game per se. So that post-play game that you saw where the two players, I would call that a game. That could be a drill, but there's a lot of things that you could have in there is the decision-making, a lot of movement, a lot of ability for them to be aware of many different situations. And that's what you really want when you're designing these practices. And just like what Ian Clark said, you can teach technique in the weekend. And think about all your great goalies in the NHL. None of them play the same. The best goalie ever, Mario Brodeur, you could have went down every single time down the left side of the ice, and he could have probably made a different type of save on the same exact shot. But he was able to solve those solutions in different ways and then also make the shooters confused. So he was ahead of the game. Any questions from the crowd? Yeah.
What are your thoughts on smaller games for goaltenders? You know, whether that be in the actual crease, cross ice, switch it.
Yeah. So I know I'm going to repeat it. Yeah. This is not my first rodeo. Okay. So the crowd asked about small area games and putting nets at different areas of the ice without a crease or whatever. So I think that one, in the end, the angles and the positioning are always in the hockey game are off of the 6-foot net and the puck. That never changes until they want to try to screw us over in the NHL and get the bigger nets. But those never change, right? So the angle of the puck is always coming off of the net. It doesn't matter where you're on the ice. However, there's an aspect of being in your crease and the visual perception of the awareness. So I would try to do both, but I would, if the goalie complains about, hey, I don't have a crease, I don't have a net, I say that's BS. You're always going off of your post and coming out, and that's how you're doing your angle. That depth and that depth and the squareness is always there. Them being square, it's the depth that they might have to manage because they're not going to be aware with the other surroundings. But I would say everywhere and anywhere is totally fine, but have some drills in the real crease so that they can just get that awareness. So. Done like dinner. Any questions from the crowd now? Okay. Pause this. You're live. Don't say anything bad.
Well, you can't.
Good morning. All right, good morning. It's everybody's favorite, the referees section. My name's Todd Stallsworth. I am one of the local instructors here in Columbus, and I schedule the travel games for all the youth, the tier 2 and the select. Ray asked me to come and talk about communication with coaches and officials and how to become a referee. So I'm going to start with that first. So becoming a referee is not very difficult. There are 4 levels. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. To be completely honest, the levels don't really matter so much. Until you get to, like, if you want to do like districts and nationals, then you're going to want to be a level 3 or a 4 in order to get those assignments. So again, when you're just starting out, you're going to start at a level 1. Doesn't matter if you're 12 or 60. So you start out at level 1, and then the next year you bump up to 2, then you bump up to 3, and then you can stay at 3 or you can go to 4. The biggest difference between 3 and 4 is there's a skating test, and the test is a little harder, like the actual like written test is a little difficult. To become a ref, all you have to do is you register, you pay the money, which I think is $45 for level 1s. I think it's $90 for 2s, 3s, and 4s. You sign up for a seminar, which if you're level 1, it's in person. If it's level 1 or 2, it's in person. If it's level 3 or 4, it'll be virtual. So you sign up, go to a seminar. There are online modules you have to complete. There's like 8 required ones, which is a lot of them are safe sport, DEI, all that stuff. And then you have to pick 10 or 12 electives. So you complete that. You do your open book test, which is 100 questions. You have a couple times to take that. Most people pass it because, I mean, you're literally, the questions come right from the text, from the rule book. And then that's it, right? Yep. Obviously the referees are still held to the same standards with safe sport and any sort of the background checks, any of that stuff. In the event we happen to be out there that's an 05 or younger or older, they would have to take safe sport because they would turn 18 during this season. And that's pretty much it. Now, every year there's typically a closed book test. If you're going level 2, 3, 4, they have lifted that this year. I think they want to bring in more refs. So they got rid of the closed book. And then they got rid of the skating test for the level 4s. That'll probably be back though. So in the event. All right.
So are there opportunities for referees to interact with, say, a high school team or band team? How does that operate?
What do you mean? Like
interact with the rules, encouraging them to potentially get involved in refereeing, etc.
Yes. We've been doing pretty hard, doing a pretty decent job recruiting this year. We set up 4 seminars, 2 filled up completely. We're going to actually add another one. So if you're in the Columbus area, we've got a couple coming up still. We do reach out to the teams before the season, if they request it. Sometimes we meet with the league. That's more of a just discussion about rules and things we're looking for, stuff like that. As far as like recruiting those high school players, is that?
We'll say that you've got some people on Zoom here that are from California. How can they go about involving their teams with the officials?
I mean, the best thing is reach out to the local referee association. You're going to have one. Whoever schedules your games, I reach out to the director or president and just be like, hey, we'd like to have a meeting. Again, anybody can come to the seminar. There are actually level 0 referees as well. These are non-skating refs. We actually are going to bring in a few guys like that, where they're just going to come out and just watch the basics and evaluate the referees at the lower level. And like they take the test as well. They do the seminar. And we're going to pay them like $25 a game to come out and watch and just like help new referees. Hey, blow your whistle a little louder. Or, hey, maybe stand closer to the net next time. I mean, nothing advanced, but just something enough to help these new guys get some reinforcement so we don't keep losing new guys. So, but again, if you're not around here, I just reach out to the association. There's got to be a way. I mean, refs, we're we're human. We're nice. We want the game to be fun as well. So, because we're there as much as you guys are at the rink. Any other questions on how to become a ref? That's pretty much it. Oh, good. Okay, cool. All right, so communication. So this is the is it live up there now? Okay, so this is the video they give us to give out at the seminar, level 1, level 2 seminar. So again, I'm not going to sit here and just read it to you, but we'll go through it all. There's a little video at the end with a couple examples. Now this does incorporate player communication as well, which is, and we can talk about it, but it's, I think we the focus here is the how officials and referees should communicate with each other appropriately so that it's actually like a worthwhile conversation and not like a yelling fest. So let's see. It's just where's your mouse, Dave? Got it. Okay. One thing we teach our guys is like first and foremost, like every game, go over and just say hi to the coach. Just go say hi. Hi, I'm Todd. Nice to meet you. Hey, how's the season going? Things of that nature. A lot of times teams will come here to Columbus and they play at like noon and they play at 4. You know, if you have the 4 o'clock game, like, hey, how'd the noon game go? You know, how'd you guys win? Okay, just a brief, how you doing? That gives you a little bit of rapport. If you have any questions, just call me over. So again, if officials are approachable, it's not a combative conversation, at least out of the blue. Refs are going to be concise. They're going to be the explanations are not going to be long. It doesn't need to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just like, hey, what'd you see there? Well, I saw this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Here's the rule. Fair enough. Thank you. And then that's it. That's the conversation. All right. And obviously there's nonverbal communication where your signals, you know, if I'm at the blue line and I'm waving it off, that's not onside, that's not offsides. If I'm right there and I have a good signal, you see it, everybody knows it's a good call. Okay. The one thing that always makes me laugh is I tell these guys, you got to get to the blue line before the players do, because who's standing at the blue line in the first and third period? That would be the coach of the other team. So you got to get there and then just use your signal so that everybody knows you were there in time and made the right call. Typically, you're going to talk to the coach most of the time. In your higher level games, you can talk to the captain if they have a question. Usually, we're going to talk to the coach because, again, you got to send the captain out and then you got to tell him what you want. And then he has to go back. And then the coach has another question, and it's like, just go to the coach. So we have our guys try to go to the coach as long as they are being reasonable. So again, if you're screaming and hollering, I'm going nowhere near you because that conversation is going nowhere. All right. Obviously, if you want to talk to the captain and he's, you know, acting up, you want to go to the coach. But we try to go to the coach at most levels, especially little ones, because I mean, I can't imagine telling a 10-year-old a rule explanation and having that one recite that back to the coach. All right. Yeah, again, you're going to talk with the older players when it's, you know, the kids are a little older. I've addressed a lot of this here. Obviously, one thing that local refs can get in a bad habit of is you see the same teams a lot of times. So like when, you know, Columbus is playing Pittsburgh, you know, and you talk to the Columbus coach for like 4 of the 5-minute warm up, that looks pretty bad. So again, make sure you talk to both sides, both teams, how you doing, et cetera. You want to look like you're favoring a team, right? This is more talking towards the players during the game. Obviously, just you can compliment good plays. You can, hey, I'm on the boards. There's a video here at the end. You'll see it. Like I'm on the boards again. There's communication with the players again, which is not the main focus of why I'm here, but we are going to talk to the players to keep the game moving. And then that little blue, a moving puck is a referee's best friend. So when the conversation with the coach and the ref goes south, it's like, let's get the puck down and let's go. So, but we're hoping that, you know, that coaches and refs obviously are going to be just get on the same page. Let's not argue. Let's just, here's the rule. Here's what I saw. And again, if I miss something, we tell our guys, like, you got to own it up. You got to go over and be like, hey, I screwed that up, man. Sorry. I screwed you up. I said, I don't know what to do, but let's just keep playing. So again, I think coaches appreciate the honesty because again, refs are human. We're going to mess up. Again, this is more about signals. Here's the video because they can hear this. I hope you guys can hear it. I can pause it first. Okay, I was just gonna make sure it's loud enough in here.
It's good.
Okay. You read it slow.
Welcome to this presentation on communication with players and coaches. Although the majority of an official's communication with the players, coaches, and spectators is done non-verbally, there are instances where effective verbal communication is necessary during the course of the game. This may occur both during the play and during stoppages, and will be an effective way for the official to boost credibility. The manner in which an official verbally communicates will be a reflection of the attitude of the official. An official who refuses to explain a rule interpretation to a team captain appears to be authoritative and is not willing to cooperate with participants. An official who is willing to give a brief and accurate interpretation is seen as an official who is willing to give the same respect to the participants that is expected from them. In this clip, 16 green looks at the goalie at the end of play. The official takes this opportunity to approach the player in a calm manner and correct their behavior. Body language from both the official and the player tell us this was effective communication. Verbal communication can be an effective tool both during play and during stoppages. Here are some examples when verbal communication by the official may be necessary. Verbal communication in these instances will notify your partners and the player as to the proper call while reinforcing the fact that you saw the play and are confident in your decision. The official's position in clear nonverbal communication with the waiver make this an example of effective communication. The common mistake is to over-verbalize in these situations. Doing so in every instance gives the impression the official is coaching the players or does not want to assess a penalty. When a verbal warning is given, the official must be prepared to stop play and assess the appropriate penalty if the action continues. Failure to do so will simply create a boy who cried wolf syndrome that will confuse the players. Let's listen into this clip for an example.
Move it, move it. Let's go. Referee on board.
The official playing rules clearly state the captain of the team is the only participant who is eligible to talk to the official. However, common sense tells us that in the spirit of cooperation, there may be instances when the official should communicate with the coach or other players. A good time to talk to the coach and establish credibility is when the coach is calm and has a reasonable question or genuine concern. Let's listen to the officials. Notice how they're clear, stern, and concise while hearing out the coach.
I got over here that gets laid out with a shot to the head, and that's questionable.
The captain is your best point of contact at other levels with simple situations and if the coach is being unruly. Here's an example of the officials communicating with some captains. Effective communication skills require a wide range of qualities. Although officials who are effective communicators tend to be more successful, following these communication tips will help every official become a more effective communicator. Make an effort to answer all reasonable questions briefly and accurately. A team or player who does not understand a rule or interpretation will only become frustrated when the official refuses to answer a legitimate question. Avoid threatening players and coaches. When you threaten to assess a penalty or tell the players and coaches that you will call every infraction prior to the game, you're putting yourself in a difficult situation and you must be prepared to back up every time. Never use obscene or vulgar language. We penalize players for using foul language, and we should certainly hold ourselves to the same standard. Thanks for watching. You're now ready to take the chapter.
Cool. A couple notes on that I wanted to discuss. One thing is a visual. I don't know if you guys saw that with when the ref came, what he came over and talked about, like the hit to the head or whatever. Notice that coach was not on the bench. He was on the rubber. So again, if we're gonna go over and talk to you, it definitely looks better if you just come down as opposed to standing there and just like look like you're yelling at the ref. I like how it says no vulgar language. Who's ever seen a video of Wes McCauley in NHL? No, sorry, he's a little boisterous, right? Yeah, but again, if we can penalize you for vulgar language, we shouldn't be using it because again, it's unfair. It doesn't make any sense. I have a question actually for you guys. When you guys signed up to coach, did you get the situation book and the rule book, or just the rule book? You don't even get a rule book?
The rule book's online.
Oh, I guess you can download the app. Okay. If you guys haven't, this book is huge. There are situations like crazy in the rule book. I would suggest going through some of them if you get a chance, because again, there's some weird things. Actually, literally yesterday I had a game and the question was on the test this year, and it actually happened in the game. So I would have missed it had I not looked the rule up, to be honest. But they do happen. But there's some really good situations in there. The goalie came out to poke check. He missed and got his legs. And I was like, well, he left his feet, because technically under the clipping rule, it says if you leave your feet and it causes the opponent to trip or fall, it's 2 minutes. The exception there is if you go drop to block a shot to your knees, or if it's a goalie and his intention is to play the puck. So if I think he went out to trip the guy, that's tripping, but because he was trying to play the puck and he caught him in the skate, it was good. It was not a penalty. So weird. It was question 27 on my test. Yeah. I guess the only thing I want to touch on, I guess, just so you guys, I mean, they changed the rules last year. They're going to change it every 5 years now, I think. The biggest thing is they got rid of they added, if you get any major comes with a game automatically. So you can get a minor for some things. You can get a 2 and 10 for some things. If you get a major, it comes with a game in all situations, even in adult league. And they got rid of the language saying if you injure somebody, that's a 5 in a game. So now it's reckless and danger. So that's a little more broad. But if you can go 5 in a game or match, refs aren't looking to match guys. But again, if you hit somebody who's vulnerable and they could really get hurt, there might be match penalties. So it has nothing to do with injury anymore. Okay. I think one of the reasons they got rid of that is, what is an injury? If his nose is bleeding, is that an injury? I mean, is he out 2 shifts later? I mean, if the ambulance comes, clearly he's injured, but there's a lot of gray area. What does injured mean? Now they're saying if there's a reckless endangerment, they can go 5 in a game or a match. I think that's all I really wanted to discuss, unless you guys have questions about any registration or even new rules or communication. Feel free to. Okay, so the question was, she was a level 1 several years ago. That's a good question. You would have to, if you take off, I think a couple of years, I think you have to restart. So I think it's 2 years, maybe 3. But again, we have refs that have played college hockey that, like, they'll come in as a level 1, but they might be working a U18 game or U16 game because they can skate, they know the game, they pick it up quick. So again, the levels aren't as important as they seem, only if you want to do districts or nationals. So if you want to referee districts, you'd need to be level 4. If you want to line districts, you would have to be level 3. At least that's how it works in Mid-Am. So.
There's some common misunderstandings that coaches have, whether it be rules or otherwise, that you see out there, or things that may come up multiple times during the year.
I guess the biggest one I run into is just not knowing the rule. So and again, it's not anybody's fault, so to speak, because you can watch the NHL, you can watch college, you can watch high school. Like I said, the games I do in town, there's 4 different rule books I have to know. So some have hybrid icing. So, whoever seen the referee mess up an icing, done it. Okay. Everybody says center ice, center ice, center ice. Well, as far as I understand it, USA Hockey is the only rule book to where it goes all the way to where the puck was at the time of the whistle. Everybody else goes center ice. So like, you'll hear that being yelled at you. And it's just like the weird differences in the rules from what you watch on TV, from what we do here at USA Hockey. So, just approach the ref and be like, hey, I thought that was this. And like, well, you're right. I'll say this a lot. Like, you're right. On TV, you're absolutely right. That's the right call. I said, unfortunately, here we do it this way. So I would just, reference the rule book, and don't base everything you see on TV, because the USA is a little different in a lot of ways. That would be. Okay. That's harmless.
Zoom guys, you can always ask questions.
Good old Tim Saratory talking. Okay.
You muted?
Now I am.
2 in the game. He's flying into the zone.
Man, I can't hear you guys.
You know what? Start over.
I should.
How about now?
Yep, I got you. Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm starting over.
Yes. So throw me on. Yeah, Oh, okay. I'll do it. We're good.
Oh, come on.
the depth. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Did you get out to go?
Why is this not restarting? There we go. Okay. My name's Will Reimer, and today I'm going to go over puck-centric skating. Okay. What that is. Okay. The puck moves first. Okay. The most important thing on the ice would be the puck. So in order to dictate play and do all this stuff, okay, it results in more fluid movements. Okay, fluidity with skating, okay, whether it's you're utilizing your momentum to skate left or right or attack a defender. Whenever you direct the puck first, you can utilize your momentum. Results in more fluidity, as I said. Okay, puck moves first, obviously just went over that. Let the puck dictate the play. Wherever the puck goes, you go. Okay, so it's not, the puck doesn't follow you, you follow the puck. Stick base or stick radius and skate base. Okay, that's what I'll cover in this next slide here. And then puck snatches. Okay, it's what I consider to be a good move to utilize puck centric skating. Okay, puck moves first. Okay, I know Greg and I, we were out at lunch one day and he brought up hands out, having your hands out in front of you for more mobility, okay, with your stick movements. Okay, personally, I do like that. I also like having a high top elbow. So your top hand, for me as a lefty, it'd be my right elbow. Okay, having that up. Okay, so if you combine the two, high top elbow and having your hands out, you'll have more mobility and you'll be able to push and pull the puck easier. And then stick positioning, same thing with that. Yeah, so then stick positioning, back to it, mobility, and then adjusting to the puck. Okay, don't let the puck adjust to you. Okay, you adjust to the puck. What that means is change your stick or your skate base. Okay, whether if it's a bad pass behind me, I'm gonna adjust and I'm gonna go in the direction of the puck. Okay, I like to tell my players to treat the puck as an egg. Okay, you don't want to cut off the route the puck is going and go in another direction. Okay, you don't want to crack the egg. Okay, soften the egg and go with the puck. Okay, if the pass is on my left side, I'm going to catch it on my left side and I'm going to continue my route and utilize my momentum. Okay, this is a good clip of Nathan Mckinnon. Okay, puck moves first. Watch as every movement he does. Okay, the puck is outside of his skate base. Everywhere he goes, the puck moves first. And then he's going to perform 2 puck snatches here. One to the inside to suck the defender in, and then one to the outside to attack the heels. Here's the first one. Notice how the puck moves first. And then snatches it to the outside. Okay, puck moved first, and he accelerated past with a crossover. Okay, to explode past the defender. There we go. So skate base and stick radius. Okay, your skate base is the area in between your skates. Okay, I'm sure we've seen Nathan McKinnon and Connor McDavid with their feet practically 6-7 feet apart. Okay, or you've seen Patrick Kane or Panarin with their feet just right outside of their shoulder base, or Cale Makar on their inside edge. Okay, that's what I mean. Skate base can vary depending on situations. Okay, and it's important to understand what situations to use or to have your feet wide or close together. Okay, through that you can obviously you have Cale Makar. Okay, he skates very much on his inside edge a lot. Okay, Kirill Kaprizov, or I think that's how you say his name. Same thing. Okay, he skates on his inside edge a lot. Okay, he understands his skate base and how to use it. With that, stick radius. Okay, that is the radius at which your stick can reach based on your skate base. Okay, so for example, if I'm in a weight shift on my left side and most of my weight is on my left side, okay, I can only reach so far to my right side, rather than if I'm at the center of my skate base. Okay, I can reach further to my right side, or if I'm all the way on my right side, I can reach much further. So understanding your stick radius with your skate base, okay, is very important. Okay, and that goes hand in hand with the stick positioning. Okay, different situations. Okay, if I'm coming up on a defender, if I'm attacking a defender to his left or to my left side, okay, maybe I want to adjust the puck so my body's in between the puck and the defender. Okay, just little things like that. And Artemi Panarin, I do believe, in my eyes, is probably one of the better players at this.
The depth of speed is still evident right from forward.
Watch as he moves the puck.
Panarin moving in, turning and shooting. The speed is still evident right
to the left,
from forward
away from pressure. Right here. Okay, he has pressure. I mean, 2 guys technically. First defender almost stepped up on him, and then he had back pressure coming in. Okay, he attacked the defender's heels with the back pressure that was provided. Okay, and snatched the puck to his left side. Okay.
Panarin moving in, turning and shooting, and a save by Soros with Strome in front. Thanks for that report, by the way, Dave. The depth of speed is still evident. Right.
Okay, here's another one I do believe of.
Acquired in the trade from Montreal.
Panarin.
First round pick there,
So
traded
notice,
for
okay,
Jonathan Drouin.
I'll go deeper into puck snatches.
Panarin into the corner, down to 22 seconds.
But he performs 2 puck snatches, okay? What I consider
Acquired in the trade from Montreal.
Go over it here real quick. Is when the puck goes from outside of one side of your skate base, so outside, not inside your skate base, but outside one side of your skate base, all the way to the opposite side of your skate base. Okay, that's what I consider a puck snatch. That is the easiest way to utilize your momentum. Okay, when you do that sudden movement, you gain momentum, so you carry that over when you skate. Okay, utilize it with crossovers, everything. He performs this
first round pick there, traded
outside of
acquired it.
Ending result here could have been better.
Trade from Montreal. First round pick there, traded for Jonathan Drouin. Panarin into the corner, down to 22 seconds.
And he adjusts the puck based on his skate base.
Acquired in the trade from Montreal. First round pick there, traded for Jonathan Drouin.
There we go. Puck snatches, my favorite. I could talk all day about these. When I was down in Florida, actually, Greg was there too. We got to listen to Daryl Belfry and his coaching summit, his coaching seminar. He brought up puck touches and a bunch of different, just offensive offensive behaviors, okay, habits and stuff that we can create and teach our kids. What kept on coming back to me is I'm like, there's this movement he's doing, but I forgot what he named it and stuff. And I'm like, well, this could be expanded, because his Ella, who was in one of Greg's clips earlier, kept on doing this one movement, but I don't think Daryl ever came up with a name for it. So I put a name on it, puck snatch, okay? All it is, it's a sudden movement, okay? From, let's say, your left side, okay, to your right side, but it's got to stay outside your skate base. Okay, creates a separation of your upper and lower body. Okay, that's really important. Okay, you don't want to be boxy when you skate. You don't want to skate in one direction. Okay, separating that upper and lower body creates more options. Okay, if I'm attacking a defender, if I can point my toes one direction to my left, let's say, and my upper body, my shoulders to the right in another direction, now that forces the defender to think. Okay, well, now he can go either way. Okay, which way is he going to go? Rather than being so boxy and facing one direction with your whole body, you can give yourself 2 options. Okay, and it once again allows for more mobility. You can utilize the momentum you gain from a puck snatch. Okay, and I'll have a few clips here of it. Use the momentum. So when we snatch that puck, okay, typically, for example, when you do a tight turn, okay, what you're taught is to turn your shoulders, correct? Okay, well, when you think about this movement, okay, if I'm starting this puck outside my left skate base and I'm snatching it to my right side, there's a sudden jolt of my shoulders. Okay, then that proceeds. If I go into a right side tight turn, okay, my jolt will help assist me in my tight turn. Okay, so that's why I think it's really important if we can learn this movement, okay, and this sudden jolt, okay, it'll benefit us, for example, in the tight turns. Okay, same thing with attacking a defender. I do believe my next clip, which we've all seen before, okay, but I'm going to break it down because Connor McDavid executed it pretty much to perfection.
It up and look out. Here he goes.
I am going to freeze it right here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about with the separation of upper and lower body. Okay, notice his toes are facing one way, his shoulders are facing another way. Okay, he uses a speed differential, which is another topic. Okay, speed differential to freeze the defender. Okay, And once the defender sucks up into the space, he attacks the heels behind the defender.
Working against
Right there, okay? Perfect example of a puck snatch. I'm gonna replay this. Okay, perfect example. Okay, that puck starts on his right side. Okay, sucks the defender in, performs a puck snatch. Okay, left side, and then accelerates past the defender with some crossovers. Okay, he kept his momentum going. Okay, if he didn't keep his momentum going, maybe the defender would be able to stop him. Okay, a perfect puck snatch in my mind is going from outside your skate base, okay, to the opposite side and accelerating with a crossover. Okay, utilizing your momentum to accelerate with a crossover.
Get up and look out. Here he goes.
Hold on. There we go. Okay, now this one's a puck snatch into pressure to create a play.
On the board's Mckinnon. Up top, it's McCarr wanting to find space. Back to Mckinnon.
He's going to attack the defender here. So I'm going to pull this back. Notice right here, okay, shoulders, okay, are facing towards that left side, kind of down towards the goal line. Okay, his toes are going diagonal. Okay, once again, freezes the defender with this move.
Walks it into the slot. Far side shot.
Opens up space, okay. I don't know if you guys saw it. He did the first puck snatch, okay, left to right. Okay, defender steps up, okay, freezes him, does one more right to left. Okay, now that space is open. He attacked the defender's heels and the space behind him, snatched it, and then dished it off. I can't tell who that is on that off wing there, but he dished it off for an opportunity, okay, and a high quality opportunity, to be honest. I'll replay this one.
Up top, it's McCarr wanting to find space. Back to Mckinnon.
Plays it.
Walks it into the slot. Far side shot. Score!
Miko Ranch. That's a perfect example and quite the good play there. Okay, that's a good example of what I mean by puck-centric skating. Okay, that puck's always in position to make a play. Okay, utilize the puck snatch and dish it off.
On the board's Mckinnon. Up top, it's McCarr wanting to find space. Back to Mckinnon. Walks it into the slot. Far side. On the board's Mckinnon. Up top, it's McCarr wanting to find space. Back to Mckinnon. Walks it into the slot. Far side.
One more time. I forgot to add the caption on this one. But on top of going into pressure, teach your kids attacking the heels of a defender. Okay, attacking the heels. Okay, it's the area behind a defender's heels. So if you picture arrows pointing straight off a defender's heels, okay, whichever direction they're pointing is the area you need to attack. Okay, within that, easiest way to do that in my head and what I came up with are the puck snatches. Okay, separating that upper and lower body and disguising your route. Okay, disguising your next move with stick handles. Okay, what I teach my kids are puck touches are what we do as the move, and stick handles are what we utilize to disguise our move. So for example, if I'm going to put it through a defender's stick, I do that with a puck or with a puck touch. What I do to disguise that before I pull off the move, I stick handle. Okay.
McCarr,
you'll see it here. Watch the stick handles before he does his move.
Far side shot. Score!
He does a few quick little stick handles, then he pulls off his move.
Walks it into the slot. Far side shot.
He disguises his route.
Miko on the board's Mckinnon. Up top, it's McCarr wanting to.
Okay, teaching this. What I would do is teach the puck snatch for one. Okay, and then you build off of it from there. Have the kids start in the corner. Okay, obviously this depends on numbers. I'd say also plays a big part. I would say with my EDP players, this is about the most I would do in terms of actually helping the players, because obviously there's a number to where it gets to be too many and people are standing around too long and stuff. But this one seems to be about, I think, 25 kids here. Goes pretty quick. All they're going to do okay, is all, what is it? 8 face-off dots, okay? The 4 neutral zone dots, and then the 4 offensive zone dots, offensive defensive zone dots. They're gonna attack it, okay? Attack the dot indirectly as if it's a defender. Okay, they're gonna start the puck outside of their skate base on one side, snatch it to the opposite side, and accelerate and carry the momentum out, okay, with a crossover. Okay, they're gonna go to the next dot and do the same thing, okay, to 8 dots. His is big enough. Just get the point across here. They just attack each dot and they accelerate past. Helps them also learn how to separate their upper and lower body. Okay, something that they can do at home is stick handle all around their body. Okay, you know, 25, 30 stick handles on their left side. Okay, with their working on their elbow up, hands out. Okay, 25 in the middle. Okay, and then 25 to their right side, for example. That's something that they can do at home to work on that separation of upper and lower body. Okay. There we go. Okay, the puck snatch hook turn. Okay, back to it. The tight turn. Okay, if I'm doing a Gretzky curl in the corner, for example, or I'm escaping pressure at the blue line when I run out of space. Okay, maybe I got to curl back around. What I'm going to perform is a puck snatch hook turn. Okay, this is what I came up with watching I think it was before the playoffs. Okay, and I noticed it happening quite a bit. Okay, when we perform a tight turn, back to it. If I'm doing a tight turn to my right, I have to turn my shoulders. Well, I'm going to utilize that puck touch, okay, and pull it into the direction I want to skate, okay, which that sudden jolt turns my shoulders and helps me perform a tight turn quicker, okay, a hook turn quicker. I'm going to play the video here a couple times and go over a couple different points. Okay, wait for this to restart here. Okay, Danny Griner is going to be doing an example. So what we did, even let me pause it. So what we did was we utilized the dots again. So you picture a 360 around the dot. Okay, now we're going to add 2 puck touches into it. Okay, and the motion of this is a pull motion. So think about your elbow. Okay, when you do this, think about your elbow being high. Okay, I'm just going to lift my elbow up. Okay, it's not a pass. Okay, it's not a push. Okay, it's a pull. So you kind of cup your stick around the puck and you just pull it. Okay, so when you think about that in motion in a game, okay, you pull it. Okay, that turns your shoulders. Then I perform my tight turn and I pick my puck up in motion. So all it is about a 2-foot puck touch here. I'm going to play this video one more time. Okay, and when we perform this, we did 2 puck touches here. Watch as they just pull it in motion to where they're skating. The benefit of this is if I do a normal tight turn with the stick on with the puck on my stick, the defender has a better chance of poking the puck or lifting my stick or pinning me on the boards, okay, with the puck exposed, okay? But if I can pull off the puck snatch hook turn, okay, and place the puck away from the defender, so my body's in between the puck and the defender in a game, it lowers the chance of it getting turned over. Here we go. The circle snatches. Okay, this one helps with the motion of skating. Okay, more so full speed Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon skating. Okay, all you're gonna do is start in the corner. So instead of normal circles, we're gonna use the circle, the red line circle as a guide. Okay, picture inside, outside circle, okay? Players are gonna start on the outside of the circle and snatch the puck inside the circle, okay? Once you get inside, maybe you accelerate 1 or 2 quick crossovers, okay? And then we're gonna snatch it to the outside of the circle, okay? This is where we utilize our inside edge. So it's like a mohawk, okay? We're gonna open up our body a little bit, okay? When we snatch it to the outside and utilize our inside edge, okay? This is also dependent on numbers. I would say if you have 15, 16 kids, you guys can do full circles, okay? But again, if you have more than that, maybe you want to do half circles and go through it a few more times. This one's also beneficial. So after you get through the offensive zone or the first 2 dots, you can accelerate and utilize crossovers. Okay, you can get 4, 5, 6, 7 crossovers in before you reach the next circle. Then boom, we snatch the puck inside the circle and we accelerate with some more crossovers. Final points here. Overall, the puck dictates play. Okay, when the puck can dictate the play, the fluidity, the flow of movement, and the flow of a game will be much more quick. It'll be faster. It'll be more fluid. Okay, and if everyone can get on the same page as puck dictates the play, you will notice a big growth in the development of your team throughout a season, or even just teaching. Helping a player understand their skate base and stick radius. Okay, exactly how I explained it. Okay, I would, if we're on the ice, I would have a player get in hockey position, okay, and have them start with their legs right outside of, just hockey position, maybe right outside their shoulder base. Okay, hockey position, and then go ahead and, tap their skates. Be like, this is the area between this is the your skate base. Okay, and then introduce their stick radius. Okay, go ahead and grab their stick for them. Tell them to keep their hands on it and only to move their shoulders, okay, their upper body with it. Move it around for them and be like, this is your stick radius, okay? Now have them maybe bring their legs in some, okay? Maybe closer together, further apart, or a weight shift, okay? Have them feel out the difference, okay? It makes when you shift your weight to the left and you're reaching to the right, okay? Or vice versa, to the right, okay, and reaching to the left. Okay, drills you can do with this, okay, is just, once again, puck snatches, okay? Just work on those puck snatches and your inside, outside edges, okay, to start. Like, maybe do full circles on your outside edge, okay? One-legged full circles. Same thing with your inside edge, okay? Let them, make sure they know their inside edges and outside edges, okay? And that starts just before, okay? Leading up to it. The combo of Hands Out by Greg and then High Elbow by myself, okay? More mobility, make sure they know that, okay? Make sure they can move more with their hands out in front of them and having that high elbow, okay? You can gain more control of the puck, and it also helps with your center of gravity. Linear crossovers, okay? This can be a theme within itself, to be honest, okay? You can introduce linear crossovers and puck snatches in one practice, okay, as a theme. For warm-ups, all I would do is work on inside edges, okay, little semicircles, okay, and then hop over to your right foot, okay, semicircle, hop over to your left foot, okay, get that explosion going, okay, knee bend, okay, and then we explode over to our left edge, okay, right back to our right edge, and then work on what I call long distance crossovers, okay, we utilize our outside edge, okay, and we hang on the edge for as long as we can, then we cross over our outside edge, okay, maybe right over left, okay, and we get on our outside edge there, okay, and we push off, okay, now we're on our outside edge on our right foot, then we'll switch to our left foot, okay, and then that leads into linear crossovers, okay, just 3 or 4, 2 or 3 to the right, 2 or 3 to the left, okay, what we're focusing on is puck leads first. Okay, if I'm going to start and I want to go to my right, guess what? I'm going to snatch that puck to my right, use my momentum, get 2 or 3 crossovers in. Then when I want to go to my left, I'm going to snatch the puck to my left. Remember, it starts outside your skate base to the opposite side, for example, the left. Okay, then I utilize my 2 or 3 linear crossovers. Outside of that, do you guys have any questions about any of the puck snatch or when to utilize it or anything?
Right on top of you.
Of course.
I'm gonna do a live participation. All right, so everyone in the room, including everyone on Zoom, if we could all just stand up for a hot second here. I want to go back to the underlying element that Will is talking about here, which is the kinetic chain. So let's start by turning our head to the left. What does that make your shoulders want to do? Okay, they want to turn left as well. So, okay, let's turn our shoulders left. What does that want to make us want to do with our hips and legs? Turn further, right? So as we are understanding this, we can all stop that, but you can understand where we lead in skating is not from our feet up, it is from our head down, which is really strange for people to understand is skating should be taught from head down rather than feet up. And that underlies a lot of what Will's talking here is we're letting the puck move, which is snapping our shoulders, our head, and the rest of the kinetic chain that will work its way all the way down as we go through these movements, which leads into separation of upper and lower body of what we're talking about here. So making sure that we understand, again, the kinetic chain, skating starts head and all the way down, not feet all the way up. So when you're starting your movement, right? Because we've got to be like the puck's got to move, right? So the puck's either going to trail you or be led by you. So there's the question to which Will's expertly going to step back and go from there.
Yeah. So, well, let's backtrack. Okay. Let's backtrack here. So within the with your feet moving to the right. So if you're turning to the right with your feet, okay, well, again, we start from the head and work our way down, okay? So we want head moving, shoulders, okay, hips, then feet, okay, in that order. But in terms of that, okay, when you turn your feet, do you sense your upper body going the opposite direction? A little bit, okay. Yeah. So to add to that, like overall, like I would get in the habit of maybe changing. Okay. Start with the head, shoulders, okay, hands, hips, and turn your shoulders, okay, with the sudden jolt. Okay. I instantly snap, then guess what? It's like a golf swing. Okay. When you swing, okay, the rest of your body goes with the ball or goes, you know, with motion. Okay. Shoulders, hips, then your toe ends up or your heel ends up off the ground somehow. Okay. Same thing with hockey. Okay, when you have that sudden jolt of momentum turn, the rest of your body will turn with you. Okay? And that's why we start head to toe. Does that kind of answer that? Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Any other? Oh, I'm going to add to Greg's point about what we just did. Okay. Greg brought it up to me and it slipped my mind. Okay, but now I understand. So on the ice, I would have all of the kids before practice starts, maybe have them get together. Okay, huddle up, take a knee, make sure they're focused on you. Call one kid up. Okay, you don't exactly need a puck, but you can use a puck. Okay, the kinetic chain. Have a player start at the blue line. He can go. I'm not looking to go fast, but really just glide. Okay, have him turn his shoulders. Okay, in his head, sudden jolt. What he'll notice is without even moving your skates, he'll start to go in that direction. Okay. And this is from a glide. Okay. If I'm turning to the right, okay, I'm going to jolt to the right. I'll notice myself start to veer off to the right. Okay. Same thing to the left. Okay. That's a way of doing it on ice. Okay. Then you can expand into it with puck snatches and heading into your warm up from there. Yep.
So do you find if you on first, maybe this is sharper, quicker, rather than starting with the body?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, so what I see from it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so the question was, does letting the puck dictate play lead to sharper, tight turns? Yes, it does. Because when we can snatch the puck, okay, quicker, okay, think of it like a punch turn. Okay, do we know what a punch turn is? Okay, it's like a mixture between a tight turn and a quick stop. That's pretty much what this is. Okay, when we snatch that puck, okay, in a tight turn, okay, that sudden jolt of energy helps us, okay, shorten that radius of a tight turn with it. And back to it, okay, puck leads first. Okay, that's what helps. Does that answer that question? Yeah. Anything else? No. Of course. Unmute for the microphone here. Stop.
Okay, ready when you are, Matt.
All right. Do that clear throat just so everybody on Zoom. But,
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about money. Okay, I'm an economist. That's my day job. So, and I also still have my first communion money. So I'm very frugal. The number that's in my head is $300. That's what 60 minutes of ice cost me. $300. It is. I'm rounding because I can do the math easier. But yeah, in Canton, Ohio, it is $315. Now, why is that? I draw from 3 counties for the youth level. Tuscarawas County, no sheets. Stark County, 1 sheet. Summit County, no sheets. Supply and demand, it never goes away. In fact, I could have what we politely described as a conversation with a priest one day who's lamenting the fact that, you know, the kids who play hockey always miss CCD for 6 months of the year. And I'm trying to do the math with him saying, okay, here are the number of ice sheets versus the number of basketball courts. It is what it is. which is also why they sell dartboards in my face to the nuns in the county, because they're that upset that they missed the time. So I want to describe that currently I coach college club, but the points that we're going to talk about are every bit as important to the youth coaches. So what we want to talk about is what makes an effective practice. What's an effective use of that time? So Will, stick with me here. $300 an hour. How much does a minute of ice cost? $5 a minute. Okay, so here's a novel idea. As I coach college, one of my number one priorities is to make sure that we go on after the mites. Why? Because I don't have to pay for the ice cut. Okay, bang, I just found $50. Okay, and for someone in my line of work, that's a good day. All right, so once again, using the ice time effectively, and maybe even now and then, go on the really dirty ice and say, okay, we're going to have a third period practice. We're going to do an entire hour on shitty ice. Okay, that will certainly help the conditioning. So the other big tool that I have, probably shouldn't have said it that way. The other aid that I use is my little notebook. This notebook has every practice we did for the last year. It's got a laminated drill card. So these are all the drills that we do. My practice is planned ahead of time into segments, which I'll talk about. But I'm never going to spend 2 minutes on a whiteboard diagramming the next two drills while it's going on. Because what does 2 minutes cost me? $10. $10 to describe a couple of drills. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that we do off ice, because I'm of the opinion that very, very few of these items have to be done on ice. And we'll say it, for youth versus college. So on college, we practice on Monday night. We have the players there an hour before practice, and we rotate between 4 activities. First one, Will, you're going to love this, yoga. Why would yoga be so good for us? Increase flexibility, increase core strength, increase my stick radius. Fantastic touch to have yoga be part of the off ice. So, that's before practice. Absolutely. Second one we'll do is off ice stick handling. Yes, it sucks. Okay, it is the equivalent of the broccoli of hockey. But once again, it's a very, very efficient use, and it costs me $0. Now, in order to make it effective, there's a couple of things that need to happen. Number one, the players got to have their hockey gloves on. Number two, they got to have a stick at the right height. And number three, it can't all be stationary. When you practice off-ice stick handling, the component are the move, the step, and the protect. Whatever move it is you choose to make, then your first step to get to the side of the opponent, and then getting yourself in a puck protection position as you accelerate past that player. So a room like this would be perfect because you just have the kids doing a big oval, or you break it down with 2 instructors and 2 smaller ovals. But you do the move stationary 3 times. On the 4th one, you take those 2 steps. Once again, and that saves me a mountain of money on ice time. Third one we do, I'll make sure it shows up here. Third one we do is what we call JD's House of Horrors. One of my grad students is now in the professional conditioning, for lack of a better term. He's going to run those guys through plyo. And he's going to make life miserable for him. Once again, core strength, conditioning, $0. That's a pretty efficient use of time. And then the 4th one that we do is, if you're familiar with our Life University program, once again, this is for college kids. This is where we bring in a speaker to help these kids make the transition from boys to men, to help them become adults. Topics of running your own business, doing taxes, investing your 401k, all of these, one of my favorite ones was how to be a great first-year employee. Everybody talks about how to get a job. Okay, well, what makes you a rock star first-year employee? So these are all how to buy a car. We'll bring in a car salesman and say, okay, here's what you need to look at to buy a car. All right, I could go on about Life U forever, but anyway, that's the rotation. Yoga, stick handling, plyo, Life University. So, and Greg and Will, I'm going to go back to you about the head turn. One of my hobbies is I ride motorcycles. There's two motorcycle analogies that apply to hockey. Number one, head leads first. The bike will go where your eyes go. So, use that when you dovetail. The other one's a little more hockey specific. In motorcycles, you say loud pipes save lives. In hockey, hard passes saves lives. Okay. The harder you pass that puck to the teammate, the less likely he is to get laid out. Okay. So turn your head. Loud pipes saves lives. Hard passes saves lives. All right. So let's go to, and this is where I'm going to need your help. Let's identify what our practice objectives are. What is it we want to get out of a practice? Not saying that we get it out of every practice, but what are, if we've got 3 practices coming up, what are the things that we want to hit? And I'll say the first one, skill development. Obviously, that should be the majority of the time, or at least the plurality of the time. Okay, so if we knock skill development off the table of contents, what else do we want to have? Yeah, and you could say that a couple of different ways, because in my opinion, the competition part is part of the skill development. So what I want to do is I want to work on that specific skill, then put it into a small area game where we can compete using that specific skill. So yes, I mean, obviously compete, we're Americans. But what other objectives do we have? Fun. My favorite line from Bull Durham. This is fun, damn it. Yes, we want to have fun, especially at the end of a practice, especially for a youth coach. End on something fun. That's not so much fun, but that's the conditioning part that you're going to put in. So yes, we want to get some conditioning done. And, I have very specific ideas on how to do that. When we're doing sprints, and I was talking to Greg about this, our sprints are 8 seconds. Blow the whistle once, you skate as hard as you can for 8 seconds. I blow the whistle twice, it's a stop and 3 strides the other way. So it is skating basically for 10 seconds, resting for 20. Because once again, I want to get that heart rate up, heart rate down, heart rate up, heart rate down. But yes, stops and start, but to accelerate out of the stop. It's not enough to just stop and then actually stop. That's not how we play the game. We need to stop to change directions. So that's why those 3 quick strides coming out of that, I think, are probably the most important part of that. What other things do we want to get? Systems and tactics, absolutely. And once again, there's strategic and there's tactical, and there's a lot of that can be done off ice, but you got to do some of it on ice. I mean, especially when you're doing special teams. Yeah, it could be. Now, can special teams be done in the parking lot with a soccer ball? Probably. Can we work on offsides with the mites in the parking lot? Probably. So once again, there's other ways to do it, but yeah, that you got to get that in. What else we got? Contact. Okay, I can't believe I have to do this, but at the college level, I've got to spend the first month teaching these kids how to take a hit. It's jaw-dropping. It's borderline negligent for these kids to have gotten through high school hockey not knowing how to take a hit. And I'm one to talk because in high school I lost 5 teeth and got my jaw broken on a hit. So that I'm properly motivated to make sure that we teach these kids that. So, but I would absolutely, every chance we get, work on giving and receiving contact. So, and then the last one, which is incorporated to all of this, read and react decisions. There has to be a point where the drill goes from beyond a script to a play, where they've got to be able to be confronted with the situation and react to that. Now, if guys, if you can think of anything else, by all means.
You're talking about describing problems rather than describing solutions.
Exactly. Greg said, are you trying to present problems or are you trying to offer solutions? First, I'm trying to. I don't. Yeah, that's right. Makes me nuts. Yeah, it almost makes me as nuts as players over, as coaches overcoaching from the bench. Okay, I think a lot of coaches would like to put an earpiece in their players' heads and walk them through every decision they make on the ice, and I think that's awful. Okay, especially at the youth level, bring them after the play and talk about the decision he made. But to do it while the game's going on, I'm not a big fan of that. All right. Okay, so let me talk about how we'd structure 60 minutes of ice. First 5 minutes, everybody's out there balancing agility, either with a puck or without a puck, balance and agility. We're trying to warm up the hands. We're trying to warm up the balance the legs. The next part is critical. I wish Dave hadn't left, because that next 20 minutes is when my goalie coach has the goalies alone. So by definition, he's got a third of the ice. That's the time where I've got either the neutral zone or the defensive zone or attack zone to work on skill development, skills that don't require shooting at a goaltender. Okay, skills that could involve contact would be a great time, because I've got corners. You know, we can certainly do work on our contact there. And then taking that skill that we've worked on and now take your small area game. That's when I want to put the small area game in. So it's almost exactly at the middle of the practice that we do the small area game that reinforces the skill that we're trying to teach that night. Now we're in the second half of the practice. Now's the 25 minutes of full ice. So we're game situations. The goaltender is involved. You know, with breakouts, forechecks, special teams. That's when we've got that 25 minutes. And the last 10 minutes, in my mind, has got to be shinny. Let's play. Now, you can have different types of shinny. One of my favorite types of shinny, if I've got 10 minutes of shinny, the first 5 minutes, the kids have to play cross-handed. They got to flip their sticks over. For a right-handed shot, well, you're going to play left-handed for the next 5 minutes. It is amazing how much easier the game becomes to them when they get to flip back for the next 5 minutes. Okay? Another one that we can play as a shinny game is we'll have two pucks out there. We'll have a black puck and a white puck, and it's 3-on-3 with two pucks going on at once. Okay? Another one where we'll play hockey lacrosse, where we've got guys who have to stay in their defensive zone, guys that have to stay in their attack zone, and midfielders who can go everywhere. You know, there's a million different ways to do this. And I'm not saying that my ways are right. I'm just saying this is how we try and structure. But everybody knows it before we step on that ice. Because I ain't spending $10 on a 2-minute whiteboard. Okay. And I had my timer on. Since Will took 5 of my minutes, I finished at exactly 15. Once again, we're passing our problem out here in the audience. All right. Do we have any questions? Anything you guys would like to pick up? And I'd like to hear some suggestions from you guys. Go ahead, Will. 20 minutes. And it's the most, how long do I let the goalies do goalie stuff? The answer is 20 minutes. That's about as much intense concentration as they can take. And understand, I only get my goalie coach at one of my 2 practices. So I can't do 10 and 10. I would prefer to do that, but he's not at both practices. But as a coach, you understand that 20 minutes of him working with my goaltenders reflects more on my win and loss record than anything else that goes on. Happy wife, happy life, good goaltender, employed coach. Pretty much goes that way. Sure. Yes, please. They know. They do. I share the practice plan with the players ahead of time? Yes. So it's because we divide into 2 squads. We have a blue squad and a gray squad, and we've got a leader of both of those squads. So the squad leaders know what we're doing. The players generally know what we're doing. It takes them about a month to know all the names of the drills for the rookies, but just don't stand in the front of the line. We'll figure it out pretty darn quick. But another thing that and this goes a little bit off topic, it's also important at the college level for me to let my players plan practices and run practices. They say never be a player's last coach. I'm the last coach. After me, that's going to be the name of a bar on the front of their sweater for the rest of their life. So I want to make sure as they're approaching graduation that they develop their coaching skills, try and give back. But yeah, players got to know.
So you send out, so with the EDP, I send out references on, I send the information, send out to everyone. I'll get to my question. We send out information on what this week's team is. So in season, we have 2 to 3 practices, bare minimum. And then a team. So it will come out with a description of like it's puck snap. I'll give a description of that. I'll give just a summary of what practice is going to look like. Stuff. Do you do something similar? Do you send out like emails about themes or concepts or anything or practices that week?
Do I send out themes or concepts? How do I communicate the practice plan to the player?
Yeah, or like you send, but not in person. You do anything over email.
No, we use GroupMe. GroupMe is the most effective because with the damn college, with the college players right now, if I send them an email, I've got to send them a text telling them to check their damn email. So the GroupMe is the most effective way for us to communicate. Yeah, you got to have the notifications on, and there are a couple. And the nice part is that they're generally living with one of the other guys. So, the excuse window is non-existent. Also, coaching college, I've got a great way to stop players showing up late. You show up late, make them play with a weighted vest on for 10 minutes. That's medieval. Yeah. They are highly motivated to be on time after that one. So use that one. Yeah, Greg.
So you help a lot of players get to start coaching. How many do you see they struggle themselves?
What holds back young coaches or what holds back new coaches?
What we learn from.
What I'm watching out here to my left, the number of players standing around. And there's part of it when you're a new coach is you want to demo everything to show, the kids that you know what you're doing and to show the parents in the stands that you know what you're doing. And it takes a while to get a little bit of confidence, but it shouldn't take that long. Damn it, this is Ohio. Most of our dads didn't play. Now, is it going to be that way 30 years from now? Absolutely not. But as far as development of the young coach, Greg, another way I would say that, and this goes to guys who are head coaches, nothing is worse than being the assistant coach who's basically a pylon. Rather than you run all the drills, let the assistants run some of the drills. Let the assistants do some of the drills. Keep them engaged. And if they want to try something, let them. I'm not going to be coaching this team forever. Coaching careers end in tears. It's been that way since the beginning of time. But let's help these kids develop. Let them go through and run a portion of a practice. And I would say half the drills that we do are drills that players have shown me. That they ran it, we liked it, and we stuck with it, and we're using it to this day. And we typically name it after whatever high school he went to. Sure.
So if a player comes up to you, as format that practice, or would you like any practice?
Yeah, it's not going to be the next practice. Yeah, if the player wants to suggest a drill, does it happen right away? Probably not. It's probably going to be a practice or two down the road. And here's another part. What if the player shows you a lousy drill? What do? Let him run it, because we're all going to learn from it. And now we can evaluate what made that drill lousy. Was the drill lousy because 2 guys were skating and 18 guys were standing on the wall? Okay, let's learn from that. Let's raise the coaching IQ of our players as they're starting to age out of, I don't want to say competitive, organized hockey. And another one for the college club guys that we do that I think is the most economical puck touch we can possibly have, put a team in the beer league. It costs me next to nothing. It is so cheap for me to have a beer league team. We have 2 beer league teams. I have one for my alumni, and I've got one for the current team. And the priority to play in the beer league game that week goes to the 3rd and 4th liners, goes to the 3rd string goaltender. The players who may not get a lot of ice on the weekend, they will absolutely be selected to play in the beer league that week. It's a fantastic ice touch, and it's a chance to work on a particular skill, without visiting the dentist. There's no contact. Well, there's no check. It ain't piano. Okay. But yeah, I think putting a beer league team in for college clubbers, I think it's a great idea. Well, they know where they know, and talking about being humbled by 50-year-olds, that's actually what it is. So think of it this way. If you're playing against a bunch of 50-year-olds who can still beat the college club, odds are those are some pretty smart players. Okay, that's a graduate level class in hockey for my guys. And, I'll be up in the stands sometimes to watch these guys and says, how much fun was that to chase the puck for 60 minutes? Don't you feel like a complete and utter moron right now? What could we possibly learn from this? So I'm curious, how many guys have Live Barn at their building? Okay. Yeah. Is that what it everywhere right OSU? Okay. Live Barn is another tremendous tool for players development. And it's not just watching games. In the case of my guys, okay, they're sitting around with a case of beer watching a replay of the practice. And, of course, they're chirping each other as, for every mistake they're made. But once again, that's a great touch. That is an absolute phenomenal feedback loop. I'm 2 minutes over.
Well, it's great. So I would give 2 seconds. Anything else?
Well, on top of Live Barn, all of our states that we have, dedicated person.
Yeah, we do that for our, we have a dedicated person with an iPad. We do that for our games. We don't do that for our practices. And the way, and
if we're doing a warm up,
yes, having the iPad on the ice. Yep.
Go up to it, replay is the best connection you have with a player, a coach and a player. This is the most true connection you have to explain something is by literally showing it. So if Laura does something wrong here, okay, it's only explained so much, but if I actually showed her on video, that's the closest thing where we are on the same.
Okay, so going using the iPad for immediate feedback during a practice. That's where if the assistant coach is running the drill, and I've got the iPad, kid finishes his rep, I can pull him right over to me and we'll look at it together. But I have to empower my assistant coaches to run the rest of it. But yeah, and so for our games though, we use it just for the defensive zone. because we're primarily focused on the goaltender. It's my goalie coaches, doing the recording. We tried Huddle. Once again, I'm too damn frugal to pay for it. But
I would say Insta.
all right, I'm sorry. Anything else? Okay, thank you for your time, and thanks to Greg and Dave for putting this together. Let's grow this. Now we get the other Dan.
You want me to talk? Can you feel it? Hear me? All right. Okay. That's not on the thing, is it? The unmute or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to be on the presentation, is it?
All right, everyone ready to do the last one here?
Yeah. Well,
I have
it's
bonus stuff you want to go into. What's that? I have got bonus stuff just in case.
yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm Dan Mays. I'm going to be talking about creating offense through controlling the bad ice and getting to the good ice. just a little diagram just to illustrate. The good ice we'll define is the ice between the dots, the rink within the rink. The bad ice we will define as from the dots to the boards and behind the net. So why is bad ice bad ice? So again, simply defined as the dots to the boards. Bad ice should not be confused with non-important ice. So I think it's very important that your team does a good job of getting pucks from that bad ice to the good ice. And to do that, you need to use some skill tactics. You need to have some courage. And the reason that we define it as bad ice, it's the part of the ice that the defending team is trying to push you to gain back possession of the puck. So why is good ice good ice? Really, it's just it is the area of the ice that is really uncomfortable for the opposing team to defend. You can build speed, and it's again the area of the ice between the dots.
Is it because there's more options there? The good ice is the good ice?
Yes, there's more options. Again, there's not a situation where the opposing team's trying to push you to the wall. So there's no obstacles in that ice, or it's at least way harder and a little bit more uncomfortable for the defending team to defend. So kind of linking the bad ice to the good ice. It's important that your team can get pucks from the bad ice to the good ice. How we do this, you can pass the puck, you can skate the puck in between the dots, move pucks to the good ice. When you're in the bad ice, so say you're in the dead zone, in the corners, in the O zone, not standing and stopping over pucks, keeping your feet moving, throughout that, or the puck moving throughout those possessions. As far as good ice, what we want to try to do, again, because it's uncomfortable for the defending team, but it's also uncomfortable for a lot of players to skate with the puck through the middle of the ice. So it's important that our drill design is that we're doing it in practice. We're not just telling them, hey, get off the wall and get to the middle in games. We're actually designing drills and making sure we're reinforcing those habits. The thing I really like about it, with your own team practices, is when you're designing drills like this, you're not only helping the offensive, play that you're trying to reinforce, you're also teaching your team to defend that way. So I think it helps your team twofold in that regards. So this is a clip, that was what I was asking you.
Any technology, young folks, especially with
Oh. No. The what? Oh, sorry.
I'm quite sure. I see a big blue button that makes it.
Oh, because I see, because it's not on.
Yeah.
Yours.
No.
Oh, well, it might be.
Yeah, I tried to.
No, and it won't. One of you.
Like, even if I minimize this, there's nothing up.
The whole spotlighted your video.
Yeah, is that on? Like, that's what the.
there you
Oh, you just did it. Were they able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're good. All right, so kind of talking here, we're gonna watch a clip here of puck that ends up, it's an exit. The puck is outside the dots in what we define as the bad ice. And you'll see the center. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, a guy named Sidney Crosby, takes a good route to this puck and is going to enter the zone and do a mid dish to Gensel, and makes a really nice play on his backhand, which I think the goaltender was anticipating he was going to make this play on his forehand, which I think helped Gensel sneak this by him. So again, bad ice. So does a nice job there. That puck's on the yellow, getting that puck to the center. So it's not only the person that's retrieving the puck, it's also the centerman there, putting himself in a good position to where he can accelerate through this pass and then enter the zone. And this is a great play on his backhand there to Gensel for a nice goal. This play here, it's a power play. This is an example of using the bad ice with possession here, and then being patient, and then you'll see as they work the strong side D after they work it behind the net is going to sneak into some good ice, and they make a really nice low to high play here to the strong side D. And this is a difficult play. I think all of us have had our strong side D try to sneak in, and a lot of times those passes are in their feet, and you have your defenseman bobbling a pass, and then the other team's going back, 3-on-1. So this is a really sneaky, kind of really nicely executed play here from bad ice to good ice. Switch sides. So just a different type of, example to this theory of getting pucks from the bad ice to the good ice. Sorry, I like that. Kind of show it on the different reverse angles. So kind of training this and making this becoming a part of your team's identity is it's a harder way to play than you would traditionally. So I think it's important that us as coaches have the correct mentality and the correct patience when we're trying to teach this concept and make it a part of who we are as a team. So training should be challenging. And it also, for me, I think the best drills have a little bit of give and take from the offensive team and the defensive team. And sometimes you can add different elements to a drill within the drill. You could run it a certain way 2 or 3 minutes, and then you could kind of give the defensive team a little bit of advantage. And it's fun because you see a lot of growth within your group, but you also don't see one side of this having all this success and the other side having no success and becoming frustrated and just not getting much out of the training session. Ooh. So, and again, a part of that mentality is they need to be able to fail without fear. If you're going to ask them to do something that you know, I have the 18Us in Pittsburgh, and you know, if I have somebody that comes in as a 17-year-old and has always been taught to kind of take it wide and drive in, you know, a little bit older school, and I don't have that patience with them when we're introducing maybe a new concept to them, then they're not going to have success, and it's just not a good thing. So again, the drill design, try to mirror the game itself, but also what you're trying to accomplish. And I had talked about making adjustments, and we can kind of have a discussion about that and some different things. So, so this is a drill, nothing crazy, that I kind of, one thing I wanted to kind of work on with my team is on breakouts, on exits, not just posting up on the wall, actually getting off the wall. And then also for our D, on retrievals, shoulder checks, scanning, but also going through the dots, not getting themselves pinned on the bad ice, you know, from the dots out, getting caught on the board. So this is a drill that I kind of came up with where, and you have to be careful if you do this with your team, because it can be pretty dangerous, in all honesty, because you got four people, and this 4 people going at once, and they're coming from both sides. So if there's there's a timing element to this drill, and you'll see that. This is the first time that I ran this drill, so I've since made some adjustments, and you know, so, and I can kind of talk to you about that as we watch. So, oops, sorry. So again, get to the good ice. Then we're looking to switch sides in zone. And then this is adjustment that we made. Instead of just having a point shot, we actually have the D, after they make this pass here, they're going to roll up the center ice circle, pivot around, and then catch like a second wave pass. And something else that we've done is, instead of this pass coming from the D or the coach, actually putting a second puck down for the forwards to do a wall scrape. And if we're going to do a point shot, see how people could die there. And if we have a point shot, what we want is, we don't want both players just standing at the goalie. We want a high tip option or a climb option, or the person at the net front, we want a flash screen. So it's not a standing screen. It's, they're meeting the puck. They're screening the goaltender as the puck is meeting the goalie, or, you know, right around that time. Okay. This is 7 minutes long, so we'll move on. So another thing, you know, that I like to try to practice this is small area game. And the small area game I'm going to show you is something that I've actually done with NHL players all the way down to 8U players. So it's not particularly you know, hard or complicated type small area game, but it works on getting pucks off the wall into the good ice. And if it's executed properly, it should be very quick. So when I'm designing this small area game, I really like it because the goalie's in their crease, which I think is good for this particular thing, because this concept we're working on is we're working on, you know, a spot on the ice, you know, dots out and then in between the dots. So I think it's important that we're working on this in a realistic ozone type environment. So another thing that I do in this particular game is I incentivize the skill and tactics. So another element that we work on is wall scrapes, meaning getting the pucks off the wall when it's rimmed around the yellow. So you'll see some different things. So if the players score off the rush on a wall scrape, the initial 3-on-2 rush, you'll see that will be 2 goals. And then also before we just want to remind, hey, maybe we're working on cutbacks that day or trying to make sure that we have more cutbacks involved in our on-ice tactical skill type thing. We'll remind them to make sure that, we're trying to perform that as much as possible. So this is, I'm going to talk through the setup. It cannot play. Great. Well, so this game will not play. It says to restart it. Should I?
Give a shot if not, it becomes more your computer.
Yeah, it's literally the last save. PowerPoint. Prepare. I think he just. Yeah. The last slide, of course, right? Does somebody have a coaching board? I could just drop that. What's that? Yeah. We'll see here, buddy. Oh. All right. Oh. Oh. Here, I'll do it from here. Slideshow from. There we go. All right. Sorry about that technical difficulty there. So this is a game. So I'll just start playing it because we'll watch a couple different reps of it. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's right there.
1 second here while we bring up this computer.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, bro. Sorry about this, guys. Okay. Does everybody hear me still, or?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay. All right, so the setup, and I'll talk while the drill is going on. As you'll see, the yellow team and the black team each have a quarterback. We line up the teams opposite of their quarterbacks, so they have to work this puck over. So this is a direct pass. That would count as one, but see how we quickly try to get the pucks off the wall into the good ice. Okay, here I don't really love this. This quarterback's not coming off the wall, not attacking. It's a little bit perimeter. They end up making a decent play here. There's a cutback. Really for this drill, and again, this was one of the first times that we ran it with this group, is we want to attack off the wall quickly, just because in a game, those 3-on-2s are very, very quick. So this is me not utilizing my ice time correctly and talking too much. So let's see. So it's a relatively simple, small area game that you can use with your teams, kind of evolve based on what you're working on, how you're working on, and it gets competitive and good. And one thing that I meant to talk about too is love small area games. They're great. The one thing that I dislike about them is sometimes players get too competitive and they start cheating the smaller, any type of competitive situation, they'll end up cheating the drill or the smaller game, not doing, the concepts that we're working on. So I think it's important as coaches that we recognize that. And, I noticed when I first started, I was with Honey Baked organization. When I first started coaching, there was a lot of, the possession skills weren't very good. They were just the players weren't used to the small area competition stuff, and they were kind of whacking pucks around and stuff. And things have gotten a lot better, you know. I think as all of us have evolved as coaches, and the players have gotten more comfortable playing in these small areas. So go ahead and shut it down. Sorry we had to wait 5 minutes for that last slide there, everyone. And I can open up to anybody that has questions. Questions, comments, anything? Yeah.
Okay, you're by taking the good ice, you're putting these kids right on the trolley chips.
Yeah.
And you know, and gotta emphasize the defensive side. It's not good shot one. You gotta make sure that they work on their form so that it's shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. And I think since the game has evolved and the fact that they know that they're going to get a 5-minute major penalty for any type of headshots, that hasn't been a problem. I think like with our D, we can use, you know, some of the tactical defending that Greg talked about today and angling, you know, forward in certain situations. And if we're doing a 3-on-2 rush drill, you know, using the blue line and not conceding the blue line and maybe playing it as a 2-on-2, even though, you know, practically it is a 3-on-2, but if we can push them off sides or force them to dump a puck as opposed to just conceding our blue line, you know, those are things that I kind of stress in those type of drill environments. Good question though. Yeah, and that's why it's uncomfortable for the players, for sure. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, chat anything about hockey, emails there, dmays@pittsburghpenguins.com, and would love to hear from anyone that wants to talk. So thanks so much for having me out. Yep. Oh, you want this?
All good. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have everyone's attendance marked down. So if you're looking for USA Hockey CE, I'll work with Phil Sweetie, who is my direct person in contact with this, on getting that to you. Usually takes a few weeks to get that completed, or a few days, depending on how things go. This is our first time doing CE, especially an independent CE event. So give us a little bit of grace on that if those don't come through immediately for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. It's gregjrevac@gmail.com. Thank you so much.